Welcome, everybody, to Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. I have a new face and a new name to me on the podcast, so I'm really excited to interview someone that I don't know very well. So, everyone, this is Oreet. Oreet, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much, Ellen, for having me. I'm so stoked to be here. Thank you.
I was so excited too. It was wonderful talking to you and getting to know you a little bit just in preparation for today's episode. And everyone is in for such a treat. And I think I'm just going to set the tone and frame things up with your bio. So here we go. So when people ask me, and I'm just quoting, so this is Oreet, okay, in first person. When people ask me what I do, I say, I help people reach their fitness goals with beauty and spirit of belly dance, along with the power of strength and fitness. But what I really want to say is I help remind people that they are already beautiful, strong, and that they can do it, damn it.
Yeah.
Exclamation point. As you've probably guessed, teaching people how to belly dance while getting a workout and having fun is my sweet spot. And when it comes to turning people who thought, I can't do that, to, damn, I'm fabulous, I'm the one. Oreet, the creator of Sharky, the belly dance workout, has over 25 years of experience in fitness and dance. She's always been fascinated with all dance styles, but belly dance always had a special place in her heart due to her Israeli and Yemenite roots. She is an award-winning performer and holds the title Belly Dancer of the Year and Middle Eastern Dance Champion of North America, to name a few. And Sharky has been featured on NBC, ABC, CBS, and CNN, among other outlets. Oreet's ultimate passion is to help people realize their fitness potential and that any body can dance. Oreet uses her extensive experience as a professional dancer and fitness educator to mentor teachers to create classes that not only retain students, but brings fun and inspiration back into their teaching. She helps by offering clarity, strategy, and the tools they need to help fast track their dance businesses. So I'm so excited to dive into this topic. I know so little about belly dance other than it looks so sexy.
Yeah.
I wish I could move my hips like that. So
Yeah.
what a wonderful, fun topic to dive into, and what an impressive career you have led.
Oh, appreciate that. Thank you. Thank
So
you.
tell us a little bit about yourself personally. You're East Coast mom. What's your story?
Yeah. I'm originally from New York City. Yeah, that's my stomping ground. And I have two kids, but I now reside in Philly. Yeah. But I went through San Francisco to come to Philly. So I'm a mom of two. I have a 14-year-old son and a 12-year-old daughter. And I absolutely love fitness. I've been doing it ever since I graduated college. And I like to fuse my contemporary dance with my fitness because I was also a professional dancer in New York for about 10 years. And how I do that is that I fuse it with my belly dance, my fitness, and my contemporary dance, hence Sharky.
Sharky. Okay, so hold the phones. Okay,
Of
so
course.
did you ever do just regular group fitness like step aerobics, high low, anything like that? Yes.
Yep.
You've done it
Yes.
all? Okay.
I've done it all. Yes. In New York. And that's the hardest place, I think, to start. Just, whew. That's all I got to
Yeah.
say.
Well, when you said you were like a professional dancer in New York City, I was like, whoa, whoa, I can't even imagine the pressure, which I think we're going to kind of get into a little bit about
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
in this candid conversation about your life. So take us through your fitness career. So how did you find group fitness? Like obviously you've been dancing and dancing has been a passion of yours, but was group fitness first? Was group fitness after? How,
Right.
take us through your professional life.
Of course, of course. So when I graduated college, I moved right into the city, and I had to supplement my living, right?
Yeah.
And I couldn't just dance all the time because it was hard for me to get a gig, right? So if I was going to be in the gym anyway, might as well get paid for it. Right. So I got certified. I learned how to teach all different modalities. And yeah, that's how I got into it. And I absolutely loved it because it is performance oriented.
It is.
It's
You're
like
right.
dance.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is putting on a show. It
Yep.
really is. Actually, I once got feedback early on from a fitness director, and it was like constructive. It was like feedback. It was like it was like a complaint that a member felt like I was performing, that it seemed like it was a cycle class, the member said it felt like a performance. And anyway, I was young at the time and fairly new instructor, but I look back on that now and I'm like, oh, well, good for me. Good for me
Right.
as a young instructor that I was treating it like, yeah, it is. It's a performance. It's a show. It's
Yeah.
entertainment, education, and all that, all what that involved up. So you were teaching, supplementing. So this was in New York City still. This
Yeah.
is
In the 90s.
okay, in the 90s. Okay. And so you were supplementing your income? What, were you well paid as a fitness instructor? I'm so confused.
Oh yeah. Well, guess what? I was in New York.
Wow. Is that
They do.
that's a New York thing?
Um, well, I guess the standard of living there is higher, so you get paid a little bit
Yeah,
more, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, I was able to do it. I was able to live in New York with a little bit of it, some dance income, but mostly fitness income. But, I had to work my way up. You start at those small gyms, and then I eventually start to get into the big name gyms. Yeah.
That, that's a great little that's a great little tip or vignette for our listeners who might be new, is you do have to work your way up. You do start by taking you start small and by taking the scraps that fall off the table. When I started, I would sub anything, anytime, anywhere, any format. You just kind of have to scrape your way to the top, and then there are opportunities. There are opportunities to be successful and make money. So yeah, little
Yeah.
side note, it takes some patience and some hustle, but
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. You have to have your mind has to be into it. You've
Mhm.
got to want it. You've got to have
Mhm.
that drive. And I felt like I had that. But
Yeah.
honestly, I had no choice. I
Yeah.
had to figure it out. So,
So you were dancing and then you were teaching and you were going to school, and this is all in New York City, and then were you belly dancing? Was it all
no, n-
okay?
no, I was
You're gonna take us there.
yes, I was a
Okay,
contemporary
go.
dancer. Yeah, I was a contemporary dancer. I auditioned for, small Broadway shows, some contemporary artists. It was hard. It was hard. My dream was to be an Alvin Ailey dancer. I'm not sure if you know who they are.
Oh,
Um,
tell me.
they are uh, a dance company of color, and I really wanted to be a dancer of Alvin Ailey, especially because I'm a person of color,
Yes.
and it was all about, we're going to get into this, about fitting in and looking the part. So it was really hard for me to find dance gigs, mind you. Back in the 90s, it was you had to look a certain way. Unfortunately, I was born in the wrong era. Nowadays, you can be short, you can have a little more, whatever that means, right?
Yeah.
As long as you can do it. But then you had to look a certain way. So, everyone who's listening, just so you know, I have big curly hair. By the way, my hair is wet, so it's going to grow bigger. Big curly hair. I have brown skin, and I'm only 4'10".
You're 4'10"?
I am.
Oh, you're tiny.
Yeah. And I have this mesomorphic build. I have like a stockier build. But I was can I curse?
Ah,
I was fucking strong. I was strong. And I got the parts where I would lift other women, lift other men, um, be
wow.
able to do fast movement because I'm lower to the ground. It was
Uh-huh.
easier for me.
Lower center of gravity.
Yes. Um, yeah, but it was still a struggle for me to get the gigs that I wanted because I didn't look the part. And also, it was a struggle for me in the fitness industry in New York as well. It trickled into the industry as well.
So hold on, let's slow down. This is like
Yeah,
the time, I mean, I remember this era because you and I are probably very similar in age. This is like when like Kate Moss was the body type, the goal, like
right.
and I know you said you're a fan of our podcast and you probably heard my episode on eating disorder and everything. And so I I resonate, this resonates with me, this pressure to look a
Yeah,
certain way and to obsess over, I don't know that you did this, but over flaws and imperfections and
yeah,
stuff like that. But I do imagine, I am not a dancer, but it does seem to me that the dance community, I hope this doesn't offend anyone in the dance community that I'm going to say this, it has seemed like there's even more pressure in that world. It has seemed that's at least the like stigma or perception that I've had is that that to be a dancer, at least like you say, at least then. And I don't know that that has totally changed today. Do you think it has? I know the whole fitness industry is becoming like way getting on the right track
yeah.
with, you know, all shapes, all sizes type of marketing and philosophies. But I think that's fairly in the last few years.
Yeah. Yeah, with the industry, it hasn't changed, but it is changing. It's
Okay.
changing for the better. We've got some work to do, but we're going in the right direction for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So you wanted to be part of this professional group that was women of color,
No,
this
men and women of
men
color.
and
Yep.
women of color.
Mhm.
And did you get it or did you not get it?
Well, I auditioned 3 times. I didn't get it. No, I didn't. And I auditioned for so many other companies. It's just hard. It's, being a, small fish in a big pond where everyone's amazing. You know,
Right.
yeah, everyone is amazing. And I thought I was pretty damn good, but you had to be exceptional.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what?
So, I didn't make it. So I didn't make it in the dance world, and because I just didn't fit the part. But then I felt that I wasn't making it so much in the fitness world. Well, I did work hard and I worked my way up to like big name gyms. But
Yeah.
here's what I mean. So when I would sub a class, people would leave, or I didn't look convincing enough that I can work somebody out. Or in gyms where they had two classes going on at the same time, it was either me or the beautiful man next door to take step from. No one would take it from me, but they would go to the beautiful man. So again, not fitting the part, not being people's, view of what fit looks like and what commanding looks like. Um, so then one day when I was working at Gold's Gym on 54th Street, the director, we had a staff meeting, and the director said, student retention is at an all-time low.
Okay.
Instructors, I want you to think about some really cool classes that we can present to our members. And I immediately said, I raised my hand, I said, belly dance for fitness, because anybody can do it. I don't know what drove me to do that. Just, I don't know, something lifted my hand because me, I hated belly dance. I hated my culture, but I grew to love it once I started to teach it.
Well, maybe you saw that as an opportunity because I was going to ask you, like, what suggestions you have when you were saying that maybe you didn't look the part and people were not choosing maybe you didn't look like you would have a commanding presence because you're 4'11" or something. I
Yeah,
mean, I was going to say, I was thinking, like, how did you overcome that? But maybe it was coming up with a solution. There was a problem. This, what you just explained, they
right.
needed better attendance. You came up with a
Yes.
solution. Maybe it wasn't something that you even loved. You didn't even raise your own hands. It raised
Right.
itself for you. And
Yeah.
you had a solution and you solved a problem, and that probably made you fall in love with it more. So wait, I'm still missing a piece of this, the chronology here. You weren't already you must have already been belly dancing. You just said you didn't like it that much. When did you
Uh,
start belly dancing? As a child? Like as a part
oh
of the
yes.
culture? Yes?
Oh, I missed that piece, didn't I?
Yes, yes,
So belly dance is part of my culture because I'm Israeli of
yes.
Yemeni roots, which means I am a Jew from Arab land.
Where were you born? In New York City?
Born in New York City, but I used to live in
Yep.
Israel.
You
But
did.
my grandparents are from Yemen and my parents are from Israel. So belly dance is part of our culture.
And what age do they introduce belly dance to?
Oh,
It's just part of, it's
it's
just
part of
part of the air.
celebratory. Yeah, it's part of celebratory events, you know.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just at every party, you just do it. It's
okay.
just part of our social dance.
So did you ever like did you ever have to learn how, or you just grow up doing it? I'm so confused.
No, I know it's confusing. The way this indigenous art form is taught is through watch me and you do. There is no real formal training.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
I
But
love that you call it an art form.
well, it
It
is.
is, huh? I mean,
It's
it
it,
seems like it is. Like it is, and I want to talk about this at some point. It seems like actually like a very sensual art form,
it is.
or could be. So I want to talk about that too, because that's something that's very interesting to me in
Yeah,
life in general for women to tap into and
of
be
course.
okay with their sensuality and to be okay expressing it. And so
Oh yeah.
I want to go there too. I
Yeah.
put that in the outline, but
You want to go there now?
yeah, sure. I feel like there's certain um I I've just been thinking since meeting you and thinking about this interview and thinking about belly dance. It does I'm all for women learning to because sometimes I think we have to learn it and work on it. I don't think it's necessarily innate, but how to accept ourselves and like not to sound like a cliche, but to love our bodies. And sexuality and sensuality is a part of that. And,
Hmm.
I think sometimes we tamp that down because of whatever reasons, whatever.
Hmm.
For me, it was like growing up in the church and like sexuality and sensuality was just like something like you just don't like think about or talk about like we're supposed to be these like asexual like robots or something. And then I just think that there's I think it's healthy for women to like feel comfortable in their bodies expressing themselves to music. Um, and I'm also like a fan of women investing in like boudoir photography. Nothing like belly dance, but similarly, I think it's an empowering thing for women to do. So yeah, tell me your thoughts about the
Yeah.
sexuality of the art form.
Yeah, so I definitely think it's more sensual than it is sexual. Although when it first was created, it's a really old art form, like 3,000 years, over 3,000 years old. We think that it started as a dance for entertainment,
Okay.
where the gypsies in Egypt, we think that's where it started, would just travel around, and that's how they would make money. And they would go
Oh,
around from town to town, I guess, right? Village to village. But then over a few hundred years, it started to morph into something that was more for women. And how I learned it as an exercise and an exercise for childbirth. And that's how I learned it. But
really?
it evolved. It
Yeah.
evolved. And it started to evolve into something just women do with each other.
Okay.
So how I learn it, and there's all different types of history, all different types. It depends where you're from and who you learned it from. Um, so I learned that it was an exercise for childbirth. The movements, the motions, the circular movements, the undulations help the baby go down the body.
Oh,
Um, and it massages your organs, your insides, your ligaments, your joints. But
mm,
it did start as a form of entertainment. And might I say, almost like it was like a way, a form of prostitution in a way too, right from the beginning before it changed. Um,
interesting.
yeah.
So,
But why I love this dance is that it's there's poise. Like, although some people may think it's sexual, it doesn't necessarily have to be sexual. It's not to lure the opposite, gender or whatever gender, yeah, uh,
Right.
to lure somebody in it. But it's more about for you, how it makes you feel, yeah. And
Yeah.
the movement's so beautiful,
Wait,
so
first of all, I'm just we're gonna bring it back to boudoir photography again, and maybe you think that's a crazy parallel, but I and I like that you made a distinction between sensuality and sexuality. And with boudoir photography, which I think is something, women in fitness should invest into, and not for anyone else. Not even if you're married, just like for you. And not as I don't mean boudoir photography. I know sometimes it can be like over sexualized, like maybe a woman, bent over the hood of a car or something like that. Like, I don't mean like that. I mean like artistic,
yeah,
curvy, shadowy, uh, just art. I just mean as an art form,
yeah,
as a way to express sensuality, not
absolutely,
in an objectification sexuality
yeah,
way. And so anyway, I just brought it back there again. But so I didn't know that belly dance was 3,000 years old. I didn't
yeah,
know that it kind of started in entertainment and gypsies. And I certainly have never heard that it was a way to help women in childbirth. I didn't know any of that.
yeah. At
So
least my
interesting.
version of the history. That's how
Is
I
it
learned it.
right? Is it westernized here in the United States? Like, is it really different here or?
I think in the United States, we really refined it, and
Oh,
we really made it stage worthy. Like, we've added a little bit more, some ballet and some theatrical stuff. And honestly, I feel if it wasn't for the non people of origin, like, we bring tourism to Egypt, I feel, because of this art form. Yeah. Again, my opinion.
okay, so then you raise your hand, Gold's Gym director is looking for new formats, or somehow you get your hand up in the air and you
Yeah.
say belly dance. So then what? So then what happened? You started.
And then I was like, oh shit, I got to figure this out. How do I how do I now outline this art form and make it fitness? What? And I haven't like done belly dance in a long, long time. I was like, let me refresh. Let me refresh my memory. And I only had a week to do it. So I took every belly dance class I could in New York City. And you know what happened?
But
I was angry.
what?
I was angry taking these belly dance classes. You know why?
Why?
Because none of the teachers watched me.
Oh,
And I was like, wait, this is not a way that I can teach because I have to watch my fitness enthusiasts.
wait,
Other
who were they watching? What were they doing?
themselves, they were taking
Oh,
the class for themselves. So
oh,
they were not formally trained as a teacher.
right.
Just because you're a great
Plus,
dancer doesn't mean you're a good teacher.
oh, 100%. And also, just because you're a great instructor doesn't mean you're a great employee. Okay. Sorry I said that, but I said that. Wait, so also you said that it was an art form growing up that you had to see to learn. You weren't really taught it. So it didn't, so at this point you have a week to turn it into a what? Like a 32 count group exercise fitness format that didn't exist and you had never experienced yourself?
Well, it was a process. It was a
Okay.
process. But what happened is that I took my dance education on
Okay.
how to keep moving, right?
Yeah.
Even though I didn't set it to 32 counts per se, but I
Right.
knew because of my fitness background, I knew how to create a warm up, then a peak, and then a cool down. I knew how to
Yeah.
keep it moving. That's
Yeah.
all. But then over the next 5 years, I started to tweak it, and then my format was born.
When was that when you named it Sharky, or was it what was it called on your schedule initially when you first started it at the Gold's Gym?
Oh, it
Belly
was,
dance or something?
yeah, belly dance fitness or a belly dance workout, something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
And was it revolutionary at the time? Was there anything like that happening anywhere in gyms?
It Started to because Shakira came onto the scene.
Ah, Shakira,
Yeah,
Shakira.
exactly. Yeah,
That's
so
right.
and there was also a Latin soap opera called named El Clon. So all the Latin beautiful women wanted to take belly dance, and so
Oh,
there was belly dance in the soap opera.
wow. Okay,
Yeah.
but you brought it, and then did people come to your class?
People came, they were like amazed by it. And people were telling me, wow, I took this belly dance class down the road, but she doesn't teach like you. Like they couldn't put it together why they enjoyed my class more. And it was because I was giving them value. Not only was I teaching them authentic belly dance, but I was able to give them a workout at the same time.
Right, because you have, and you use the word fusion, like it's fitness. It reminds me of words I use when I talk about one of my formats, Warrior Rhythm. I call it a fusion because it's a fitness-based
Yeah.
style of yoga. It's not an authentic yoga style format. So
Mhm.
is that similar with yours?
It I would say partially. I mean, because I really feel like the movements that I'm teaching,
Are
they
authentic?
are
Oh,
authentic.
okay. Tell me what you mean by let me just stop talking and let you explain a little more.
No problem. Why I feel like mine is authentic is because they are true belly dance moves. All I'm doing is the way that the movement it's done, I'm squaring it into a four count phrase, as
Oh,
opposed to dancing to the melody, where the melody shifts and it speeds up and there's a
okay.
9/8, a 3 count, a 2 count. I'm
Okay.
making it square. Does that make sense?
The back half of what you're saying makes perfect sense because I live in
Okay.
that square world. So
Okay,
the
good.
9/8 thing you said, you
Okay.
lost me, but
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. It's just a steady beat all the time. Whereas in Middle Eastern music, there's no real steady beat.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's authentic style belly dancing, but you are making it palatable for the fitness enthusiast that
You
wants to
got
get
it.
sweaty and get a good workout.
You
Ah,
got it.
that is
Yes.
amazing. So it's not
Yeah.
like, oh, we're here practicing a style for entertainment. We're here to get a workout.
You got it.
Oh,
Exactly.
that's so amazing. Can I please come to New York or to Philly and take your class?
Yes. Or virtually. I
So,
teach
yes,
virtually.
totally. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. When we do the show notes, we'll have to tell people how they can work out with you virtually. And I want to also. I'm not good. I mean, I don't know. So anyway, talk to us about that. I don't mean to jump the gun here, but I do want to know. I do want to know, like you said, authentic belly dance style. So someone like me who knows nothing about the art form, are there certain classic moves or poses, or what is authentic?
Authentic is because these are the moves that you're going to see that a traditional belly dancer would do. That's all.
Yes, okay.
There's nothing really made up.
Got it.
Right. Right.
And do you incorporate, well, I guess I'll have to take your class and see. Do you incorporate other types of and other influences or modalities at all? You do.
Absolutely. A little bit of it, Indian dance, a little bit of Latin, because they cross cultures.
Ah, that's
They
so cool.
cross naturally. Yeah.
And okay, so can I shift gears? I want to hear about, you were saying there was this pressure when you were trying to make it as a professional dancer in New York City to look a certain way. Then you kind of experienced that also in the group exercise setting, at least initially. And you was looking at your website this morning, and I saw on there that you used the words on there that you felt like you didn't fit in always.
Mhm.
And that also resonates with me personally. I definitely was a kid growing up that was unpopular and didn't fit in. We were poor. I didn't have like name brand clothes, and I was teased. I have a really loud laugh, and I used to get made fun of for that. And it was just, it was horrible. Like high school was horrible for me. I was that cliche of like, I sit down at the lunch table with my tray and like girls would get up and leave and I'd just be sitting there alone. So I have always kind of loved the outcast and and then by the way, like I kind of blossomed out of, coming out of college, and I sort of blossomed into I was gonna say the young woman that I am today, but I'm not really a young woman anymore. But I sort of blossomed and that changed. And then people did think I was cool and did want to be around me and stuff like that. But I've always had this like super tender soft spot for the oddball and the misfit and the outcast and the unlovely or the the underdog. Like the list could go on. I am so drawn to people in my life that feel like they maybe don't fit in. And I respect them often because often they don't fit in because they're okay with they're nonconformists or they're free thinkers or they're willing to take the road less traveled or you know so I saw that on your story. How did you feel like you didn't fit in? Was that related to dance? And how does that, it was on your website. So how does this sense of not being someone who didn't fit in or maybe still doesn't fit in, how does that connect with your business and who you are in this program?
Of course. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I never fit into also in school. Just, again, living in an area because I grew up on Long Island and then moved to New York City. But being the 1% minority, not many Jewish people and nobody looked like me. So that was already hard. And being short on top of it. And then going in with that whole like anger and like that feeling of not fitting in, going into the dance world and still getting rejected. Sorry, maybe next time, and just not fitting the costume, right? And then
Ah,
bring that into fitness, and then they want to take the beautiful man's class over mine, and I don't look convincing. So when I raised my hand in Gold's Gym, I was like, God damn it, I look the part this time. And you know what? It worked, Ellen. People came to my classes. All they had to do was ask me, "Oh, where are you from?" And I told them, and I said, "Oh, belly dance is part of my culture." Then they stayed. I mean, that should not be the
uh-uh.
reason why someone takes someone's class. They should stay for a class because they like your teaching. But I do have to say, it did help me.
Mm.
I was so excited. I was like, finally, this is how it feels to be wanted.
Okay, so you were having some success there, and then I think you started to say that like 5 years later, it actually started to take shape and become your own baby, your own program. Is that sort of the
Correct.
next step in the
Yes.
chronology of your life?
Yeah, yeah, roughly, yeah, 4 or 5 years. So, it started in 1998, and then I figured out what I wanted to look like. I became a business in 2002,
Mm.
and then started certifying in 2004 and started to gain instructors. And then Sharkey was trickling around New York City.
Wow, that's incredible. Are you so proud?
um, yeah, I worked my ass off, Ellen. I really did. It was hard, but I'm proud. I'm
Yeah.
proud for sure.
Okay, so anything else you want to tell us about the format itself? Like, so I think I was going to ask if a novice or someone like me that how does a novice fit into this as a
Right.
participant? And then we'll get into your actual certification here in a little bit. So I'll ask the same thing there. But if someone has no experience, they can just walk in off the street and roll up and feel successful in your class?
Absolutely. My motto is if you can march, you can belly dance. See,
Oh,
what makes Sharkey unique and why I've made it for the person with two left feet is because one, there was no standardized teaching for belly dance. I gave it a format. I gave it standardized teaching for the fitness world. Here's why. In regular belly dance, the way it was taught was via the mimicking process. Watch me and then you do. That's how I was taught. But the fitness enthusiast does not work that way. They're used to learning how to break down, build up the nuances until to the complete move. And that's what I did. I gave belly dance breakdown, build up, and then put it into a nice routine, but have people dancing right from the start, not doing drills and technique, but
got it.
dancing right from the get go.
Huh. That's amazing.
Thank
Is
you.
it hard for I remember in 2009, I had a cervical fusion, my neck, I had a spinal thing. And in after that very successful surgery, I did do physical therapy with Pilates, with a Pilates instructor, physical therapist for a year. And I remember we were trying to get me to be able to turn on like my transversus.
Mhm.
And just some of those deep intrinsic muscles of the core and the pelvic floor and all of that, finding out how to use those was kind of tricky and took some time and some instruction. And I'm wondering with belly dance, is it like that? Like, does it take a certain kind of like, I feel like I have great kinesthetic awareness
Yeah.
in the general scope of all things fitness. But when I think about something, a modality like belly dance, I wonder if I would even have like naturally the body awareness to be able to move, or is that something that you teach and that takes time and that they learn and become proficient at?
Yes, I mean some people already have the body awareness, but the challenging part sometimes with belly dance is that it's not like with Latin dance where you can move multiple body parts at the same time and it's okay. Whereas in belly dance is more isolation.
Oh,
I'm going to isolate one body part at the time, and then you can probably move everything at the same time, but it takes strength. But my job is to break that down into verbiage that it can really resonate with people so they understand. I teach people in a simple way how you can isolate.
okay. I've heard you use the word strength now a couple times and it was in your bio. So strength is a big part of this workout. And is it
Oh yeah.
just, is it is it that type of strength? Like, is it that kind of contraction and movement that you're referring to when you use the word strength, as opposed to like, I might use the word strength and I'm talking about picking up dumbbells.
Right, right. The strength I'm talking about is like isometric contractions,
Got it.
holding your
Yep.
abs, your quads, yeah, bracing your shoulders down, that type of thing.
I bet people are sore after they're doing
Are
that
you
for
kidding me? Absolutely. You would not think. You would not
oh,
think.
I bet. No, I do think
Yeah.
that. So then I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna ask it. It seems like that we were talking about body image and stereotypes and the 90s and all that, eating disorder, all those things. It seems like a voluptuous body is ac- totally accepted in the belly dance culture, like preferred, like that's beautiful. Am I right?
Um,
Or
Anybody is beautiful, but how I grew up was to watch dancers who had who were softer and
oh,
would undulate and their skin would move with it, and that was so beautiful.
yes.
So
Yes.
beautiful. And
Yes.
honestly, I prefer to see a dancer who has a little more flesh. I mean, it's
I
why
prefer to
not?
see a woman with a little more flesh, period.
Yeah,
Like I just the again, referring to that episode, I was the eating disorder episode where I talked about the bodybuilding culture. And this is not to say, I know we have people that listen that are amazing and that that's their sport and they love it and they do it and they're healthy and they're balanced and they do it well. But you can sometimes see in that sport of bodybuilding an extreme where women are not menstruating and the look is the extreme is just not my preference. It's just not my preference. And I love like I think of softness, to use that same word you just used, that that says feminine to me and beautiful and I love it. So I just think props to the belly dance community um for that. I think it's a
yeah,
beautiful look. And
yeah,
yes, I know that thank you for almost correcting me there. I know that you're very much, as am I, into all bodies, like
yeah, yeah,
skinny, low fat,
yeah, yeah,
anything, like all,
yeah, yeah.
all ages, all colors, the cornucopia,
Mhm.
we like it all. We like it all. Yeah.
Yeah,
And preferably
totally.
if you don't fit in and you're an oddball.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, So that's um that's an awesome story. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about your program,
Of
Sharky? Why
course.
did you name it that again?
Oh, why did I name it? Because, when I named it, Taibo was a big craze. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, let me think of a two-syllable title. And so Sharqi actually means east. So the technical term for belly dance is Raqs al-Sharqi, which means dance of the east. So I
Oh,
just chose Sharqi and I put a U in it because it's like a French, it's
yeah.
just a transliteration.
I
There's no,
like it.
yeah.
So you took this modality that didn't really have a structure, a governing body to be like, this is how it's done in the fitness world. So you really pioneered this. I think that takes incredible courage, and I love the confidence you had in doing that. And I think that's why I felt like, to be really honest with you, that you'd be a perfect fit for this interview. So you infuse these authentic style movements, whatever you call them. It incorporates strength. All levels are welcome, all levels are encouraged. And so if someone wanted to get, so you wrote a course, this is
I did.
2002, 2002,
I wrote it for 2004.
2004. Okay. And so how did you put it out there to the world? This is before I'm trying to remember like where 2000 fits into like Facebook, Instagram, social
Yeah,
media,
I
internet,
know.
like because I know, I'm sure how you're marketing it today is really
Right.
different back then.
Yeah.
So you created it. Did you have a need there in New York City? Like with the people, like you were having success teaching it. Did you have other colleagues that were like, I want to teach that?
Um, honestly, I couldn't be everywhere. So, and it was my students who said,
We need
I
more.
love your classes and I want to do more of it. How do I get certified? It wasn't my colleagues.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Perfect.
Right.
So you started having babies.
Yeah, exactly.
Little Sharky babies.
Yeah.
So your students, ah, that's the best. Well, I mean, we all know that students make the best teachers anyway, so they
Right.
really do.
Yeah.
So you wrote it, and then did you have to iterate over time to make it better and clean it up and polish it? I know I
Oh,
did.
yeah. Oh, of course. It's
My
like in the
first
span
version, yeah, my
of
first
10
version.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not 10 years in yet, but boy, the first versions I put out to the world are not what they look like today. So, so
Right.
you created this format, and then your instructors, I mean, your members, your participants started getting certified and then teaching their own classes. And this is all still kind of local in New York.
It was New York and the tri-state area, Connecticut and New Jersey as well. Yeah. Yeah, and it just I mean, thank you, Shakira. That's all I gotta say.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Well, that was the right time. That
yeah, it
was in
was.
terms of timing. Maybe not trying to be a professional dancer in the 90s in
Yeah,
New York, but writing this belly dance
yeah,
program in the Shakira era
yeah,
was perfect timing.
it was.
So then today you have a course. Talk me through how you do live trainings online, or do you also do them in person?
Oh, I do them online. So
Okay.
it's a 4-month academy for instructors where I provide you a course and we have 16 coaching calls with me that I help support you with the course. Yeah,
So does that break down to, I'm not a mathematician, I can only count to 8, as you know, but does that mean you do one call a week?
one call a week. You
One
got it.
call a week, and
Yeah.
if they have to miss, what do they do?
There is
Or they,
they submit a video
okay.
of
So
their
they,
work.
so it's 4 months long of
Yeah.
16 hours. It's a 16-hour training. And plus, I'm
Yeah.
sure, work on their own.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Practice sessions and stuff. And so at
Yeah.
the end of those calls, at the end of that first, so is it like a cohort or a group of,
It is. It's like a cohort of, 10, 15 people.
yeah,
Yeah,
I bet they become close. I bet they work together and get to know one another.
absolutely.
That's
Yes.
that's really neat. Do
Yeah.
you put them in do you have like a Facebook group for them, or do you do they just connect on their own?
Oh, no, we connect on Facebook. Yeah, we do connect on
Yeah.
Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's an exam at the end, and then once they're certified, they're able to do continuing education where I provide them all the choreographies and the music and business advice.
And business advice. I thought that was really neat that you told me that when we were chatting on the phone the other day. It reminded me of my yoga teacher training where the business of fitness is part of the curriculum when you're becoming a yoga teacher. So I love that you incorporate that. It was actually inspiring to me. I was like, maybe the next iteration of my courses needs
Yeah,
to include business training.
yeah.
That's wonderful. And so it's just been smooth and steady this whole time. And are you opening how frequently do you open new sessions
Oh,
at
right. So
your, and so is it like level one and then are there more advanced levels of the training?
yeah,
Yes.
there are. So I have 3 sessions a year. It's every 4 months. And once people, they've been practicing for a while, what they do, they have to submit something called instructor challenges. They submit videos just to make sure they're teaching on par. And then they're invited to do the Sharkey 2 instructor training. And then after that, we have a
Oh,
Sharkey 3 and then a master level.
oh, so if they have to exhibit a certain level of proficiency before you invite them to do level two.
You got it.
One. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Of that quality control you have over, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got to maintain the integrity because over time, I had a lot of instructors who were certified and then they ended up doing their own thing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, anything else you want to tell us about just your experience, any other takeaways just from your life of being someone that didn't fit into someone who was like,
Yeah.
helping women find like, I feel like you empower women. I feel like that's what you're doing with this.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Thank you. I feel like I'm doing that as well. And I just have to be completely transparent. Ellen, it's still a struggle for me with my body, and especially I'm going to say it, I am 50 years old.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm really, really fit. I've had 2 kids. My body has changed. I still struggle with it, but thank God for belly dance. Thank God because now when I dance, not when I did contemporary dance, now when I dance, I say to myself, God damn, look at what my body can do, not what it can't do. So, and I try, and that's my mission with Sharky. Like everybody is included. It's all inclusive. I don't turn anybody away. If you want to dance, it's all about what you exude. It's the essence. And if you're just having fun, you're doing it right. I just want you to move and smile and bring joy back into your movement.
That's so powerful. That is a great takeaway for all of us, myself included. And just the way we talk and frame things to ourselves molds and shapes how we actually feel. So, the way you said, flipping that rhetoric of what I can't do with my body at 50, they're like, I'm just right behind you, sister. I'm right behind you. Like, just so there's things my body can't do that it was doing even 8 years ago, and certainly 15 years when I was in my 20s and stuff. And so, but changing that, we can change that. We need to change that. We thank you for your transparency. Thank you for saying that it's still a struggle. I think if we were all really honest, I think we would all say, eh, you know just like I can say I don't always want to work out every day. I don't always feel like working out every day. I don't love my body every single day. I love it more than I ever have. I'm more gracious and more accepting of all the flaws and imperfections it has today than I ever have been in my life. But I think what you said about just changing the way we talk and dismissing those and flipping that script to look what I can do, it does change us. It does
Yeah.
change how we feel. It changes how we move in the industry. And as fitness leaders who is this audience, uh, we have to be doing that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, I would love to end the episode there, but we're not going to because I need a confession.
Okay, gotcha.
That was just such a mic drop. That was just such a perfect way to put it all in a package. And that's beautiful. Okay, what is your confession? Do you have one for us today?
Yeah, I worked my hiney off, and to all those Group X instructors who are not feeling like they fit in, or they feel like they're struggling somehow or not getting the gig that they want, whatever it is, create your own fucking opportunity. And that's
Ah,
what I did. Just create it. You do it yourself. No one's giving it to you. You do it.
ah, yes. Yes. Literally, I got chills down both legs on that one. Yeah, it's right. It doesn't get handed to us on a silver platter. It's not, no, no.
Mhm,
It was you raising your hand when you didn't even really like belly dance, saying, I got it. And then taking that years later and making your own business.
right.
And uh, I'm I'm very impressed by what you've done. And you're a trailblazer, and it's really inspiring. So I hope that some of our listeners will give some consideration to checking out your program. And so is it license free? In other words, can they take it and teach it wherever at any
You
place they want?
you
So,
betcha.
okay, so we want you all to follow Oreet. Her name is spelled Oreet. And you can find the business on Instagram at Sharky Workout. Remember, it's SHARQUI Workout. And same thing on Facebook and same thing on TikTok. So there's also sharky.com is the website. Is there anything else? I'll put all the links
Yeah.
in the show notes. She has an online studio with like is it a $5 drop-in if they want to take a class or something like that?
We actually don't do drop-ins. We do monthly subscriptions, but you can
Okay.
cancel at any time. We are offering a $5 one week for you to try it.
Oh my goodness. Do they have to enter a certain code or
Nope, it's right
no?
on the page.
Okay, so I'll put all that information in the show notes, and I'm just really grateful for your time and the depth and breadth of expertise that you bring to my listeners. And it's like a completely different wheelhouse than anything that I do well. So yeah, I just really value your time.
Thank you. Ditto. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody, have fun listening, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts on this episode. Bye.